Good morning. Welcome to the forecast discussion for Thursday, June 19th, 2025. Of course, I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Well, we are setting up for a rather stormy late afternoon and evening as a cold front approaches the region and it approaches a tropical air mass. Yes, that's right. Summer is back, and with it, the heat, the humidity, and yes, the thunderstorms. This morning, we definitely feel that is for sure, with low temperatures, well, morning temperatures ranging from the mid to upper 70s already over the suburbs, already seeing a few lower 80s on the I-95 corridor. Winds are from the southwest around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Notice the dew points here are in the 70s, very tropical like. So we have the heat and moisture already building. If this was in the afternoon, you'd already have an environment that is favorable for thunderstorms with an unstable environment. But it's actually going to get hotter with temperatures pushing through the 80s and into the lower 90s, especially on the I-95 corridor. Along the immediate coast, it will stay a little bit cooler, but not by much. So when we take a look at the latest surface map and radar, you can see our cold front that is approaching here with the warm front to the north. This is yesterday's warm front that has stalled out over the Gulf of Maine. So you have your maritime air mass here, polar air mass back here, tropical air mass surging northward. As this cold front approaches, showers and thunderstorms will start to develop over central Pennsylvania and then march their way towards our region. When you take a look at the current visible satellite picture, this is why I am fairly confident that thunderstorms will be developing throughout the region today. Plenty of sunshine right now. So what this tells us is that, especially for the Delaware River Valley, eastern Pennsylvania, heck, even New York City Metro, without any low clouds inhibiting any of the warming, temperatures are going to be able to maximize their potential. And this is what we call enhancing our CAPE values. Okay, so anytime you have CAPE values pushing over 2,000 joules per kilogram, well, things are going to get pretty interesting in the afternoon. And we take a step back and take a look at our infrared satellite picture. You can see the clouds here starting to organize. The primary upper level low with this whole system is lifting up towards the St. Lawrence River Valley, and the cold front will trail behind. So what we can expect as we move on through the afternoon is cumulus start to break out, and then an area of enhanced cloud tops, kind of like what you're seeing here, start to break out over central Pennsylvania and southern New York and march its way towards our region for the evening. And what time during the evening? Well, unfortunately, right in the middle of the evening rush hour. So it's a bit of a concern there in terms of our impacts. Now, this is the HRR guidance, and this takes us to about, let's go to about 3 p.m. And you can see the scattered showers and thunderstorms starting to develop over central Pennsylvania, starting to push into eastern Pennsylvania. As we move towards 5 p.m., those showers and thunderstorms start to increase in coverage and then really organize right after 5 p.m., let's say after 5:30, along the I-95 corridor. So here's the setup with this whole environment. Not everyone will get severe thunderstorms, but the thunderstorms that develop are going to have the capability of producing torrential downpours, frequent vivid lightning, small hail, wind gusts over 55 miles per hour, possibly pushing as high as 70 miles per hour. You and your location may miss out on this. You may get lucky and only get some heavier rainfall. But because of the high amount of moisture in the atmosphere, even if you miss out on the worst thunderstorms, during the evening rush hour when you're driving back home in this, visibility will fall significantly, sometimes below a mile, even below a half a mile, and there will be the potential for localized urban and flash flooding because of the tropical downpour type nature of this rainfall. So this is going to be a rather stormy evening any way you slice it, so definitely be prepared for that. And again, some of these thunderstorms are going to really pack a punch. So hopefully you're lucky enough to miss out on them. And again, I wouldn't take this depiction as verbatim, but you kind of get the idea here with this thunderstorm development. And you can also see this very nicely here on the NAM guidance too. The thing that kind of stands out to me is that the structure of these thunderstorms are featuring what we call bow echoes. So this will support the potential for gust fronts out ahead of some of these thunderstorms that can really surprise you with gusts pushing over 50 miles per hour without much in the way of notice ahead of these thunderstorms. So definitely a stormy afternoon and evening on the way. Let's dive into this forecast. Okay, so again, for most of the day into the early afternoon, sunny skies, showers and thunderstorms invade late this afternoon and the evening. The worst conditions during the evening rush hour. High temperatures in the lower to mid 80s over the interior and along the immediate coast. Upper 80s to lower 90s on the I-95 corridor, Delaware River Valley, basically between Philadelphia and New York City. For tonight into tomorrow morning, the cold front clears out. Look for scattered cloud cover with low temperatures in the mid to upper 50s over the northern interior, lower to mid 60s along the coast. Tomorrow afternoon, a weak trough passes by, so I can't rule out an isolated thunderstorm, but for the most part, tranquil, pleasant conditions with high temperatures in the mid to upper 70s over the northern interior and lower to mid 80s along the coast. On Saturday, we start to see that shift towards our heat wave pattern. High pressures in control, plenty of sunshine. Can't rule out an isolated thunderstorm via a sea breeze front, but for the most part, quiet conditions. Look for low temperatures ranging from the lower to mid 60s over the northern interior, mid to upper 60s along the coast, and high temperatures ranging from the lower to mid 80s over the northern interior, mid to upper 80s along the coast, and upper 80s to lower 90s in the Delaware River Valley and on the I-95 corridor. On Sunday, a area low pressure and cold front passes to our north. And for the most part, all your showers and thunderstorms are going to be focused to the north. I can't rule out a few isolated thunderstorms trying to drop through the Poconos and Catskills, but for the most part, it's going to be a quiet day on Sunday for most of the region. Just keep an eye on the sky for an isolated thunderstorm. And you're definitely going to notice the increase in the humidity and the heat. Low temperatures will range from the upper 60s to lower 70s over the northern interior, lower to mid 70s along the coast, and high temperatures will range from the lower to mid 90s over the northern interior, lower to mid 90s along the coast, and mid to upper 90s on the I-95 corridor with a heat index pushing over 100 degrees. Then we start to go into mix and rinse and repeat type pattern here. Okay, so for Monday, Tuesday, and for Wednesday, you're going to have high pressure generally in control with scattered cloud cover, muggy, humid conditions, and pretty impressive heat here. Looking at low temperatures through this period, ranging from the lower to mid 70s over the northern interior, mid to upper 70s in the suburbs, upper 70s to lower 80s in your urban areas. High temperatures will range from the lower to mid 90s over the northern interior, lower to mid 90s along the coast, possibly a few upper 80s on the south side of Long Island due to influence from the ocean, and mid to upper 90s on the I-95 corridor with a heat index pushing 100 degrees, over 100 degrees each day. Now, in this hot and humid weather pattern, notice we have some precipitation showing up here. There will be the potential via old outflow boundaries, a sea breeze front, a few rogue short waves in the mid levels of the atmosphere to spark off an isolated thunderstorm. And because of the high amount of moisture in the atmosphere, these isolated thunderstorms can pack quite a punch with torrential downpours, frequent vivid lightning, and wind gusts over 50 miles per hour. So we're going to have to watch out for that. It won't be widespread, and this is a little bit overdone on the mild guidance, but the environment is favorable for that late afternoon, early evening type thunderstorm that can pack a bit of a punch in one location while everyone else is relatively quiet. Then on Thursday, a cold front will drop through with scattered showers and thunderstorms. Look for low temperatures in the upper 60s to lower 70s over the northern interior and in your suburbs, mid 70s in your urban areas. High temperatures will range from the upper 80s to lower 90s over the northern interior and along the coast, mid to upper 90s on the I-95 corridor, with a heat index once again pushing over 100 degrees. But this time, a stronger cold front will be dropping through, producing the potential for widespread showers and thunderstorms. And some of those thunderstorms, again, could pack quite a punch. That is your forecast discussion for today. I will have updates throughout the day depending on how this severe threat evolves for this evening. Possibly add in a few videos later on this afternoon or evening just to update on this threat. But definitely, if you are caught driving in this thunderstorm threat, use caution, stay safe, and as always, Stay safe out there.